uninterrupted peace. No thinking about yesterday or worrying about tomorrow, but fully immersed in the present moment, free of your troubles. According to the National Library of Medicine, 90% of doctors' visits are for stress-related health complaints, but even a moderately stressful lifestyle reduces life expectancy. Our modern lifestyles demand increased technological screen time, bombardment of media fear, unpredictable work schedules, fluctuating financial security, that all place additional strain on our nervous systems with little time to rest and restore. Mental clarity depletes, immunity suppresses, and our nervous system suffers. Our newly seemed connected lifestyles have us less connected to the practices of deep rest from our ancestors. Hello, my name is Paula Newman, founder of Aware Meditation Inc. Vedic meditation teaches a simple practice that allows the nervous system to go from the fight or flight response to the relaxation state, 20 minutes twice a day, without the use of apps, visualization, hypnosis, or any outside stimulation. It is practiced sitting comfortably and with the use of a mantra allows the mind to go inward very easily and effortlessly. It is designed for regular folk with busy lives and even busier minds.
Okay, I've been practicing Vedic meditation for 24 years, and I honestly can't imagine life without it.
My favorite part about Vedic meditation is the relief and the reprieve I get from my brain. So it just gives me so much rest and just a lot more power in my daily experience of life.
I would highly recommend learning meditation from Paula because she has this very easy, effortless way of teaching.
Aware Meditation Inc. is a unique non-profit organization providing individuals, businesses, and families with practical, self-sufficient stress reduction techniques, including Vedic meditation for sustainable mental and physical health wellness worldwide. Our outreach program holds 3 new global initiatives: to teach underrepresented low-income groups of 108 participants per course within their own communities without financial strain. The course is taught over 4 sessions on consecutive days with multiple Vedic meditation teachers in person. We invite you to join us in shifting the current global fight-or-flight mindset. Help us empower all peoples to practice daily sustainable wellness techniques, release stress, sharpen inner listening, and rise out of unhealthy habits and circumstances. United, we can create, inspire, and awaken the capabilities of the human condition in global purpose together. Hello and welcome. We are live today. It is 3 p.m. on the west coast of the US, and we have with us a wonderful guest today. This is Shazz Andrew. She is the founder of the Cornwall Meditation Centre. That is in the southwest of the United Kingdom, which is just gone 11 p.m. there. So thank you so much for staying up to be with us. She has trained with many teachers and spent time in India doing the 108-day intensive course to become a teacher of Vedic meditation. But before that happened, she was a performer. And later on, she's going to get to tell us her unique story of how she ended up learning this practice and how a stranger that accosted her at an event led her down the path to meditation, which she had absolutely no desire or interest in to follow whatsoever. Hello, Shazz.
Good afternoon, Paula. What a lovely introduction. Thank you ever so much.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. Those of you who are just joining us, please do pop yourself in the chat, say hello so we know that you're here. And if you're having problems with that on YouTube, it simply means you probably have to log in to your channel. So we're going to give you a few minutes before we get into the meditation. What we like to do is start with a little explanation for those of you who don't know anything about this particular practice, you'll notice that both Shazz and I do have English accents. You don't have to have one in order to practice the technique.
Not at all. Not at all.
Hi there, Mary. Thanks for saying hello in the chat. The technique actually was only ever designed for what we call householders, and that is a very Victorian English word, and I'm yet to find one that's better. If you do, please pop it in the chat because I'd love to know. It simply means whether you are a student, a CEO, an individual that takes care of the house, someone who works maybe in fast food or on a factory line or in an office, you all come under the same equal umbrella. And that's a householder dealing with people, places, and frustrations of everyday life. And we don't have time to spend 2 to 3 hours being able to meditate. And so the practice was designed to get that deep rest, get that nervous system stabilized, to be able to bring the mind inward and get that stress removed, breath removed as efficiently and as effectively as possible. Now, in the world of meditation, there are basically 2 kinds of practices. There's what we call focusing, concentration techniques, and then non-directive. And the focus techniques are exactly what people think of meditation as in the West. That's, sitting cross-legged, upright, maybe doing a few weird things with your fingers, or maybe closing your eyes and visualizing, maybe following an English accent like mine, or listening to the sounds of waves on the beach. These are all concentration. Why? That means that your mind has to concentrate on some actions that you're required to take in this meditation. The other forms of meditation come under the umbrella of non-directive. And so non-directive is where this particular practice falls under. And that's where you're given a guide and you allow the mind to simply wander. It is, as I've been told, the difference between having a straight line and a spaghetti line. And the mind actually wanders more in the area of charm. We'll find that all things are happening at the same time. And so individuals who have a really hard time with the concentration technique usually end up on my house being the last one on the block to try meditation. And they come over 4 days in a row and learn little technique, go home, have a little practice yourself, and come back and tell me what an epic failure they were because they can't meditate. And this is when myself and Shazz get to say, you turned up, you're not a failure at all. Let's just get on with it and see what happens. So there's directive and non-directive practices. In 2014, there was a fabulous study, an MRI, done by the University of Oslo and Sydney, I believe. And all they did was pop people under an MRI who either did concentration techniques or non-directive practices. And what they found was those that had concentration techniques, guess what? A concentrated part of the brain was lit up. Completely logical. Those that were doing the non-directive techniques, and specifically this practice, they found that did it not only light up more areas of the brain, but it really did light up areas that process thoughts, deep rest, and emotions. And my experience was the first day I learned to meditate, I had lots of thoughts. Thought, this is no good. I lay down for my nap and my body didn't need it. And I got the deep rest. I processed lots of thoughts and emotions. And I was able to function in the world far more effectively than I had in years. I didn't understand it, but I knew I needed to learn more. So that's a brief introduction for those of you who don't know what the practice is that we do. Hi there. Hello, Salas Communications. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into a little bit of a meditation. I'm going to guide us in, and you're literally going to see me and Shazz close our eyes, and you'll follow with us doing whatever you wish to do. I will be putting myself on silent, so you don't get maybe I don't know, barking dogs in the background, or maybe, I don't know, children being thrown from the balcony that parents can't take, that they're not back in school full time here yet. I'm just kidding. Because we are still here in Los Angeles dealing with the end part of COVID. We are about to have everything open up a little bit more in June. So we're living and dealing with the challenges of being householders, right? So those of you who are joining in from around the world who do Vedic meditation, what we're going to do is ask you to close your eyes with us when we do it, and you're going to do your technique, and I'm going to take care of the time for you. Those of you who are joining in who have never been here before, first of all, welcome. Second of all, can you please subscribe to the channel? We are absolutely trying to build up the channel. Why? We are a non-profit organization. And if we get to a certain number, we're then able to get donations. And we need an admin. We need to be able to pay the regular costs, and we need an administrative person to help deal with all the day-to-day business, so I can get out there and get more people meditating. As we're getting to the end of COVID, some of our first large teachings are going to happen. We're dealing with logistics, so that would be super beneficial to us. I'm going to talk more at the end about other means that you can help support Aware Meditation, the Vedic meditation stories, which Shazz is in as well, and also how you can help participate by simply subscribing to the channel, because we get a second closer for the donations. So with our meditation, those of you who don't do Vedic meditation, we are going to sit and close our eyes. And I'd like you to try something a little different today. I'd like for you to take a moment, maybe exhale a few times, and simply allow your mind to wander. We want your mind to move and be able to wander about. I'm going to ask Shaz to put herself on mute there. If you see that there, that would be great. I guess I could do it too, but I guess, you know what, I'll do it. And have your mind wander and simply allow any thought that comes in to be okay. There is nothing wrong with having thoughts when we close our eyes. There's nothing wrong with things wanting to percolate with the mind, and sit and breathe and enjoy. So know that I will come back in about 20 minutes verbally and let you know that we are on track. So let's begin. And those of you who practice Vedic meditation, you're going to let go of your sound. The rest of you just take a couple of minutes. We're going to take a few minutes before we open our eyes. I'll let you know when we're going to open our eyes all together. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Okay, all right. At the end of a meditation, I like to stretch my arms and roll my shoulders back a bit here. It always gives me a little bit more ability to come back into the world. Don't be surprised that even if you're having lots of thoughts, you notice that there's a difference from coming out, and it's going to take a few more minutes. And with that is usually the best time to give a little information update about aware meditation before we bring Shazz in. I see that, Shazz, you are unmuted. Can you talk? Can you say something? Yeah. So we can hear you just fine there. So we have a few things that are happening in June. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, June is going to be the 19th. We're going to be doing a rounding workshop in the morning through Zoom as we change seasons. And the 26th of June, we are offering a creative visualization, a workshop. Some of you who know me will have seen what's happened in the last, not even a year, with Aware Meditation. We have done 3 performance events. We have done 2 marathon live streams. We have released an ebook, done an Ayurvedic workshop, and then another rounding fundraising workshop, which has been an accomplishment for anyone with many hands, and yet I have been able to do that with a few hands and an individual that actually has some physical limitations from an old injury. So those of you who have witnessed this big change and want to know a little bit about the secret behind how has this happened and unfolded, I will be bringing in Vedic knowledge with the truth of the source of creative visualization, which goes all the way back to the Vedas, and giving an introduction of how you can actually practically bring that into your life as you have seen what's happened over the last year with me. So those are the events that we have. Those of you who are Vedic meditators who are joining us, I have a weekly group meditation, this time 3 p.m. on Saturdays, and once a month we open that up for a special guest. And our special guest today, for those of you who don't know, is Shazz Andrew, who is the founder and head
of Cornwall Meditation Centre, which is in the southwest of England. And Shazz, thank you for joining us so late in the day from the UK.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Tell us a little bit about how you were accosted by someone to learn meditation.
Yes, it was at a friend's wedding, and I was just doing the do, just wandering around, butterflying my way around socially. And a woman came up to me and said, literally out of the blue, "Do you know you're carrying a lot of male negative energy?" And I didn't know her at all. And I was polite, however, totally bewildered. I kind of got on my high horse about it. "Who do you think you are? What do you mean by this?" And I walked away. And anyway, a few days later, her voice was still banging around in my head. So I called up the people at the wedding. I described it by her dress, like, and they said, "Oh, that's so and so." And I got in touch with her, and she gave me something very specific. She said, "You can do this for 7 days, 11 days, or 21 days. But this is a specific thing to shift male negative energy. But don't break, sorry, 7 minutes, 11 minutes, 21 minutes, but you can't break a 40-day cycle." So I did that. And it was actually halfway through that. That's when I realized that was the first time, and I got to my early 30s, that I never, ever did anything for myself unconditionally. There was always agenda, there was something else making me do something to please other people, or I'm not good enough, so I have to do this, but this was the first time ever in my adult life that the penny dropped. It's like, the only reason you're doing this is for you and you alone. Now, circumstances was she was nowhere near me, so I looked closer to home, and that's when literally I kind of emailed a few people, and someone got back to me straight away saying, "Oh, there's an intro talk tomorrow night," which was in Notting Hill. I was living in London at the time. So I popped along, and here we are 14 years later, and I'm a teacher myself. So yeah.
For 14 years, have you ever done any kind of practice that regularly in your life?
No, literally. Well-being to me prior to meditation was a day in the spa. There was there was nothing. I was an actor in London, so you can imagine it. It's really weird because on stage I can do I can do all of that, but actually in real life I'm not that person. I'm quite quiet. I've got a gob on me. I'm from Cornwall, but essentially, I just kind of quietly get on with life and just be me. But for many years, acting and professionally acting, it's just it's like a lot of careers. There's a lot of ego and a lot of hierarchy and a lot of, well, lying, basically saying the things you think people want to hear, and saying the things that things you should say back, and it's just one old big play. It's not real. So, and I think after, being an actor for that long, it just kind of ground me down, and I didn't know who I was at all. So I think Vedic meditation found me at an incredibly important time in my life. But at the time, I was completely oblivious. I was always holistic in the sense of, I preferred an alternative lifestyle, but no way would I ever. No, I never meditated before that moment ever. Not once.
And what was your idea of what you thought meditation was before you went and learned?
Not Vedic meditation, that's for sure. I think when you started off today talking about householders technique, I remember very clearly kind of walking into this living room in London, and already, I was kind of like on the back foot to get out the door, because I was surrounded by city people. Now, I don't know what that area is in LA where you live, but literally people were coming in off the streets with their German street shirts and ties. Everyone was in Karen Millen two-piece suits. these were, city people. You could see how stressed and wired they were. And there was me in my Converse and hoodie. So I was literally already going, this isn't for me. These aren't my people. What does that even mean? Even me thinking about saying that out loud now, I'm like, what was I thinking? But as soon as I heard, and this is in the book that you put together and wrote, she said it's an easy, effortless technique. No drama. And it was the no drama. That was the bit that the light bulb went on for me. And I was like, yes, I don't want that. I don't want drama anymore. You can pay me to do it on stage, but I don't want it in my personal life anymore.
Right.
So, and it stuck. It worked straight away. I felt a difference. I had no, and I think the beautiful thing about it is because I'd not meditated before, and I was actually quite ignorant about meditation. I had no expectation. I didn't know what was going to happen. So when things started to happen really quite quickly, and I picked up, I was like, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. Or I remember one of my first kind of group meditations, I was saying, I'm having some pain across my shoulders, but I know meditation's working. So is this my muscles physically unknotting that I'm feeling? I was
Mhm.
like, yep. So it's like, physically I was having this release because it felt like I was having a massage. Sometimes you get a bit of pain the next day because they've really got in there. But actually I was physically releasing. So, and that was within, I would say, the first 3 or 4 weeks, I picked up on that physical difference. And it felt right, and I know, and we all kind of have the way we talk with our students, and sometimes you miss a meditation or two, or 3 or 4 or whatever, life is there. Another thing of being a householder. But meditation doesn't go away. You've walked in through that door. You've had that intro talk. You've invested that time and money in yourself to learn this technique. It's not going to go away. So if you fall off the tracks, it's always going to be there for you again, But for me, I didn't want it to fall off the tracks because I'd never felt this way before. So I just kept going and going, and it was through charm. It was easy. It was effortless for me because I didn't want to go back to where I was. And when I was there, I didn't realize what a state I was in. So, that was a real nice drive for me to just keep going.
When you said that these weren't your people, did you find a difference when you went back?
Sorry, can you say that once more? Sorry, just cut out a little bit.
That's right. When you say they weren't your people, when you went back, did you find more in common with people after you began to meditate?
Oh, yeah. And besides that intro talk, it was absolutely down on looks because everyone was like city folk. You know what I mean? They were all posh. That's what I thought. These are all posh, moneyed people. And I'm like literally there in my little hoodie with my attitude and my South London West swagger. And it was all rubbish. It was absolute hootenanny. It was absolute false. And some of those people were just as scared and confused and as dazed as I was with life. They just had a different job and wore a different uniform. So, that's all that was. It was, and of course there's going to be a lot of stress in the financial sector of the city. So I could have gone on any other night and there could have been a lot of, jeans and t-shirt people. But I just remembered the night I went, fashion wise, I stood out. I still look fabulous, obviously.
This is a belief that many people have, that meditation is only for those who are affluent. It's only for those who have time to want to meditate. It's not considered an essential, integral part to help with our wellness. And you mentioned the Vedic Meditation Stories book that your story is in, specifically was put together to demonstrate that people come from all walks of life that have learned a practice that's changed them. And I want to take a moment here to, hopefully I can get it to play, is your little video that you did about about it. Let's see if we
Shazzy from Cornwall Meditation Centre, how you doing? I'm jumping on quickly this morning to tell you about a book I've just finished reading, and it's awesome. It's Vedic Meditation Stories, and it's by Paula J. Newman, who is the founder and director of Aware Meditation over in LA. Now, she's also an actress and as well as an author, and over the last few months she has collated all these stories about people who practice Vedic meditation. Not gonna lie, I'm one of them. Yes, I've got my own chapter, Shazz's chapter. It's in the book. Anyway, even if you take me out the book's brilliant. Okay, so go and read the book. It's a really eclectic mix of people, a diverse set of stories. Of how Vedic meditation has found them and how it's helped change and shape their lives for the better. So you get to hear where they were, they started to meditate, and where they are now. And I love it because, as I said, the diversity of it, there's so many stories that can resonate with so many. So I think Paula's been really clever about that. All ages, backgrounds, ethnicities. It's a really, really well-rounded group of stories. So I think if anyone reads it, there's going to be a few people that they can connect with on a real level. And it's an ebook is downloadable. I think it's $10. So I think for Cornish and UKers, I think I paid £7.40. So it's a good read. It's a short read because everything's kind of in the chapters. And Paula has, along with her story, she's done a fantastic who, what, why, where of what Vedic meditation is. And I think when you learn to meditate, as a Vedic meditator, we can't sell it to you. We can't bully you into learning meditation. That's not what Vedic meditation stands for. It's about you. So you come to an intro talk. If you like what you hear, you connect with your teacher, then you go on the course. And it's about you. We're not going to say, okay, no, I think you should do it. I think you should do it. That's not our bag. That's not our remit. You do meditation for you. And I think with the history and the whys and the whens and all of that, she's done a really excellent job of explaining it. And then it goes into her story and then all the stories afterwards. So well done, Paula. It's a great book. You should be really, really chuffed with yourself. And I think you should read it. And it's non-profit. Okay, Paul's not getting any money for this. This is all going into a fund to get more people meditating who may not be in a position to, pay for it. So I'm just going to do that. So yeah, non-profit book, good cause, good book, good people. If you fancy a lovely little read and want to know more about Vedic meditation as a first step, or if you just want to hear other people's stories, Paula J. Newman, Vedic Meditation Stories, download it now. And I will.
There you go. For some reason, it did not upload the visuals of Shazz, which is such a crying shame because it was fabulous. And so we got the audio and a different image. I apologize for that. I've put in the chat there the link to the book, the ebook. If you have Amazon Prime now, you get unlimited Kindle, and that means you can actually get it for no cost. And if you do that, you're actually welcome to share it with other people the first week at no cost. All we ask as a big favor is you give us a nice 5-star review if you feel moved to, and you open as many pages on the first opening, because then the nonprofit gets credit from Amazon with that. So we're going back to a bit of Shazz's story. If you have questions, please put it in the chat. We should be getting some things coming up. I'd like to know what you were talking about in regards to your muscle pain in your shoulders and how that changed.
I think it was just tension. It's where I hold my pain, is in kind of like, and as I started to meditate, I started to physically relax. And I think everyone has a little tight spot. Women tend to hold it in their shoulders and lower back and mid back. And yeah, I again, it was my normal. So I didn't realize that there was a physical stress there. I didn't realize that I'd physically was overcompensating by holding a tightness here in this area. And it wasn't, as I said, it's like that the day after a massage when you're like, oh, it feels really nice. But there's just the reminiscence of someone giving you a good pummeling the day before. But I hadn't had a massage. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. Why do I feel like this? And then I just got it, went to a group meditation, asked my teacher, and got the nod and said exactly. A lot of people find that. In fact, I had a student, he's actually a sound designer for computer games. And he came to me because he had ocular strain, he's like that hours and hours and hours and hours a day. And he was like, my eyes feel so different, So again, there was a lot of stress release there in a very specific area. So you may not know that you are holding or overcompensating, parts of your body because of stress and tightening up. But when you learn to meditate, you'll find that the whole system as a whole, there will be a physical breath, there will be a physical response. Just might take a little bit of time for you to kind of pick up and go, oh, that's new. Never used to do that. Interesting. So yeah, that's how I kind of found out about my shoulders. Yeah.
And many people don't realize that stress is accumulating, and I put it similarly to the window analogy, where over time we're driving in the car or we're looking out of the windows and we don't notice that they're getting dirty. We don't notice that stuff's going on until we actually get them washed. And this is where we might not have known that we've had tension or things going on with our physiology. My personal experience was I was very hurt when I learned to meditate, and I couldn't sleep at night because of physical pain. And every afternoon I would sleep for 3 hours. That was what my body would do. And I did the first meditation, which had loads and loads and loads of thoughts. I mean, this idea, I call it systemic meditationism, that we're not supposed to have thoughts when we close our eyes. And that's ridiculous, because the finer level of thought is consciousness, is awareness, right? So that has been documented. That's happening when there is no body, right? When the body has dropped. So again, part of this idea of what meditation is, and I had all these thoughts. I was pretty much exhausted. I thought, oh, I can't wait for my 3-hour nap. And then I lay down, and within 5 minutes or so, it was absolutely evident that the body didn't need to go to sleep. And throughout my time, after I'd gotten hurt and I'd tried many modalities to help my body physically, whether it was chiropractic, acupuncture, nutrition, oh my goodness, all the self-help you could ever think in the world, nothing gave my physiology that kind of deep rest. And that's where I feel this really separates from other practices. That other practices are wonderful, and I do very much now enjoy doing visualization work. I mean, I can actually sit down and do it. I couldn't before. But this practice has this way of bringing us inward, right? Where we connect inward, which is basically from the head down to the heart. And as a result, the mind settles down and the body can actually throw off some of this stress it's ready and download this deep rest that's much needed. Because when the nervous system is off and it's depleted, and we live in such a society where we are go, 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 or if we're not going, we have been conditioned that we're meant to be or we should be. So our mind is coming up with stories as to, why are you not going? Where do you need to go next? And I love it when I hear meditation students say, I really feel that I didn't get there. And I say, well, you're doing the whole thing wrong then. I was like, because you actually only have to be here. There's nowhere to go.
No.
And this is a practice that has transformed so many people who cannot meditate. If you want to contact Shazz, we're going to put her information down there in the description. Again, another person who would never meditate, who would only go to the spa. And, the spas are lovely right now, but I feel I have personally been meditating for 18 years. And nowadays it's like, if you want to have a bad day and not have any joy at all and really sit in that pity pot, then don't learn this practice. Don't learn it, because there are moments of joy and bliss that come in waking state, even when the outsides seem to be falling apart and all the conditioning that we've been given to tell us that life is not working. You are absolutely royally screwed from the moment you start the practice, because you will have no longer a day where it will be the whole day. You may feel sad. We are human beings. We live through grief. We live through sickness. We live through what happened in COVID. I know those that did meditate were able to adapt in a way that they couldn't before. And in the UK, I do have friends who have learned from Shazz, and how grateful they were able to get there when there were openings in the lockdown, right? Where people were able to learn from a teacher and how it changed their lives. So nothing but life-changing meditation. I don't see any questions right now. Is there something you'd like to leave us depart, Shazz, before we finish up?
I think, thank you for having me. I suppose just to come off from the back of you is just, if you meditate, it works. So, it's really good.
Beautiful. All right, everyone. So those of you who are here, I will see you who meditate next Saturday. Those of you who want to know about meditation, we're going to put all the stuff in the chat boxes for you, the description on YouTube, for you to find out what's happening. We've put there already the link to Aware Meditation, Vedic Meditation Stories book. And in that book, it's an ebook. So you'll be able to have the link to Shazz as well. And we will say thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon.